Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to have a bit of fun with talking about favourite album covers. Way back when I started my channel, I think one of the first videos I ever did was my top 20 or 30 album covers. So I'm probably in need of a reboot, and so I've just chosen 10 for today, off more or less off the top of my head. Tried to come up with slightly different choices to the ones I did last time. Had a rule, self-imposed rule of just one album cover per artist. So I would like to emphasize these selections are from my collection. So sorry if they're a bit specialized or don't include your favorite album cover. For example, there's no King Crimson here, there's no Iron Maiden. You won't see that famous Scorpions album cover here or Roxy Music, but I think these are pretty decent album covers, and I would choose my top 10, but I ended up choosing 11. So just before I start, just want to give another plug to this superb book. So if you're really interested in vinyl album cover art, I know it's a dying thing these days with CDs and Spotify sort of neglecting the cover completely, but back in the days when vinyl was the normal medium, this kind of book is just brilliant because this company Hipgnosis, run by two guys, Aubrey Powell and Storm, what's his name, the other guy who's passed away, Storm Thorgerson. They basically did most of the Pink Floyd covers, most of the Led Zeppelin covers, quite a few of the Paul McCartney and Wings covers, a few of the 10cc covers, and I've just only named the ones in my collection. They've also done a whole host of stuff, and this book is just chock-a-block full of fascinating stories around the creation of each album cover. And there's one on the back here, which is, I'm not sure who did that one on the back, but that's just a load of text, but it's a very interesting story behind that one. This is Wishbone Ash. And there's actually a very interesting documentary which you should check out on Netflix about Hipgnosis. I forget what it's called, but if you just type in Hipgnosis, it should come up. So these aren't really in any order, but I suppose they're kind of in an order. But number 11, I've chosen. By the way, sorry, I just want to say the criteria for choosing album covers. So one, are they reflective of the content of the music inside the album cover? That's one criteria. And the more reflective they are, the more likely I am to choose them. Is it an iconic image? That's another factor. How creative is it? And also, in some cases, how well does it sort of go with the back cover? Because in some albums, they come as a kind of package, and you'll see what I mean with a couple of my choices. So at number 11, we've got On the Beach from Neil Young, 1974, and this is a very bleak album cover of Neil on his own on the beach with this sort of derelict scene, deserted scene. No one else is with him. Beautiful summer's day. I can't think where everyone is, but he's on his own, and there's even a bit of a sort of broken up Cadillac here on the beach with him. And if you look at the music in this album, most of the tracks are blues, one form or another. Revolution blues, vampire blues, ambulance blues. Then there's a song called See the Sky About to Rain. So it's a very bleak album, and this album cover is perfectly encapsulates that, in my opinion. So that's Neil Young, On the Beach. We've got number 10, we've got Abba the Album. I just think this is a really joyous cover and reflective of the kind of optimism inherent in Abba's music and the feel-good factor. So they made these sort of cartoon animated pictures of the band, and it was kind of to go with Abba the movie, which had just come out at the same time as the album. But I think This is the UK one with the gatefold, with the words in the middle and the kind of airmail letter, and then good picture of the band on the back. And I just like the imagery and the colourful animated pictures here. I think it's a really great, and it's reflective of the sort of happy-go-lucky music, which Abba has always been, really. If you need cheering up, you put on Abba. That's what I do, if I'm not putting on Ringo, that is. Number 10, we've got David Bowie. This really is an iconic image. It's from the film of the same year, 1977, The Man Who Fell to Earth, and it's just, you know, he's looking like an alien, and the music inside this album is very much sort of otherworldly, particularly side 2. And I just think it's a perfect minimalist cover, back cover and front cover, and a perfect image for Bowie to go with the Low album. So number 8, we've got AC/DC Powerage. Well, they've done a number of albums sort of hinting at the sort of power of electricity, like Blow Up Your Video and High Voltage, but I think this is the best one, and with the wires coming out of his sleeves, I think it's just brilliant, and he looks like he's being electrocuted, and that's the whole point of the album cover, and it's just superb. Well, probably my favourite band picture of the Bon Scott era on the back cover. So that was AC/DC Powerage, also if push comes to shove, probably my favourite AC/DC album. Number 7, we've gone with the Beatles Red and the Blue compilation. This is the blue with the later 69 portrait, and the red album front cover was this. But the blue back cover was the earlier picture, and if you buy the red album, the back cover of the red album was this portrait with a red font around it. So I think it was a really ingenious idea, and it perfectly bookends the Beatles' career, really, from 63 when they started to 69 when they finished. And no doubt, I know John Lennon was pretty chuffed that they'd managed to recapture that picture, and he was a bit pissed off when they didn't use it for the Let It Be album, but we all know that turned into Let It Be with a different cover. But luckily that picture was resurrected and used for the Red and the Blue compilations, which are so iconic in the band's catalogue. Even though they are compilations, I will say they are definitely iconic. So that is the Beatles. Number 6, we've got 10cc, 1978, Bloody Tourists. Superb cover. This is another Hypnosis one, actually. And if you want to see the full gatefold with the C, it's here. And basically this is a tourist who's asked for directions, or asked one too many times for directions, and just had the map screwed up and shoved in his face. And then this is the picture of the band sort of in an airport lounge. I'm not sure what all the coloured lines is for, but I really like this cover, and I really like the single from that album, Dreadlock Holiday, which is also... and that could have been the cover of the title of the album as well, but they call it Bloody Tourists, and it's a classic cover, even though the album doesn't quite live up to the brilliance of the cover and the lead single. Then we've got Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Well, this was a very elaborate packaging. This came in a black plastic bag with this sort of machine here, which I guess is a reflection of Welcome to the Machine, which was Roger Waters' sort of take on the music industry, using people and chewing them and spitting them out, and Have a Cigar is also aimed at the music industry. But then when you open the black sleeve, you get this. Here's one I prepared earlier. You get this brilliant picture of a guy literally on fire. This is not photoshopped or anything. This is back in '75. They couldn't probably do a Photoshop. So this guy is literally on fire. He's wearing some kind of protective clothing and a wig probably. But after about the third or the fourth shoot, he said, right, that's it, I'm not doing it again. And again, this picture is supposed to denote how, be careful who you get in bed with, because you could easily get burnt. And he's talking in particular, you could get burnt by the record company you sign a deal with. Or indeed, it could be taken in its wider meaning of whichever businessman you choose to deal with. And this is the back cover, superb. And then you've got this little postcard in here, just brilliant packaging and brilliant design. This is another Hypnosis one. In fact, it made the cover no less of the book, so they obviously thought a lot of it. And by the way, the inner sleeve here is the Animals. So they're sort of milking the Pink Floyd connection, but why not? So that's Pink Floyd. Number 4, we got The Raven from the Stranglers. This is the perfect sort of dark, mysterious image for the Stranglers. You know, this black raven associated with sort of bad things and evil, and they were sort of kind of into a bit of alternative living, should we say, at the time. The next album was called The Men in Black, so they quite liked the theme of being kind of the bad guys. And this is very unique because it's a 3D cover. I just wish people would do more of this because it's just gorgeous. And I picked this up in Sister Ray in Berwick Street about a few years ago, and I think I paid £30 for it, and I was delighted because I don't recall ever seeing this. Maybe I saw it at the time when it came out, but I think that's an absolutely classic album cover. And as I say, I wish people would do more of the 3D stuff. Number 3, we've got Led Zeppelin, In Through the Outdoor. Well, this is a classic sort of bar, black and white bar scene, sort of some bar in sort of trying to evoke early 20th century bar in the American Midwest or somewhere. And what's interesting about this album cover is there are 6 variations. And so if you get a copy in good condition on the spine, it'll say A, B, C, D, E, or F. And I've managed to collect all 6, but a couple of them are not in great condition, so I wouldn't mind having a better condition one of the 2 that are in poor condition. But I think it was a really good idea, and Jimmy Page was absolutely delighted with it when, again, this is another Hypnosis cover. And this is the inner sleeve, and when you pour water on here, it turns into different colours. And so I just think, yeah, brilliant. And by the way, I don't know who this guy is. And I don't know who the guy is, the piano player in the back or the barman. They just probably hired them as extras, but they do a good job, and it really looks like an authentic Midwest bar. Number 2, we're going to go with Electric Light Orchestra, A New World Record. I mean, that is just a perfect cover, isn't it? And they've got the London skyline at the bottom there, and then on the back you've got the gold stars, and just this became their kind of emblem. I remember having a badge with this emblem on it, and I think they came up with some great album covers, but this is their best by quite a distance. New World Record. Now, number 1, I could have chosen what I chose, the number 1 for my last list, Crisis What Crisis from Supertramp 1975, with the guy in the deck chair surrounded by the urban landscape. But I've gone with Breakfast in America this time because I think this is an equally ingenious cover. And so this was a huge hit on both sides of the Atlantic. And let me just point out a few things in case you're not aware of it. So this lady, Libby, was hired to be the kind of Statue of Liberty figure with the orange juice instead of the torch, and dressed in the sort of waitress's uniform. And then this kind of stuff, crockery and plates that you see in the background, if you look carefully, it's actually supposed to be Manhattan. And you've got the 2 tall towers there, the World Trade Center. You've got various other cups and saucers and various bits of crockery denoting the buildings. You've even got a plate with some toast on it. And it's just an absolutely brilliant image. And if you look, this is actually as if you're looking through the window of an aeroplane. So here's the edge of the window there. So all in all, brilliant design, brilliant cover, and they did come up with some classic covers, not only Crisis What Crisis and this one, even in the quietest moments with the piano in the snowfield landscape is sublime, and Crime of the Century is another classic album cover with the hands on the rail in the middle of space, and this was the picture of the band having breakfast in America, and Rick Davies is pouring sugar all over his plate, and they're all reading various newspapers, which are mostly English or Scottish newspapers. Dougie Thompson's reading the Glasgow Herald. John Anthony Halliwell's reading the Manchester Evening News. Roger Hodgson's reading the Oxford Mail, and then because Bob C. Benberg is American, he's reading the Los Angeles Times, I think. So that's a really clever back cover. That's the front cover again. Love it to bits, and it's a great album, of course. So this was my top 11, or my sort of 11 favourites, which I picked to talk to you about today. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry if your favourites are not on here. Let me know what you think, and do let me know what your favourites are. I'd love to know, and always keen to see good album artwork. And do check out this book if you can, the Hypnosis one. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.